Speaking about up against Max Verstappen, on the podium with him for the 50th time, I've got that stat right, is in his 300th Grand Prix, was Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes. Second place this year. Second place is the best for Mercedes this year. They've had 3 7th places before this weekend, of course. So both cars on the podium. It's quite nice for Mercedes. Took Sergio Perez on lap 1, which was important, wasn't it, for Lewis to get ahead of the second Red Bull. At around lap 9, using the science of looking at the timing screen, it felt like Lewis was the fastest car on track. He got slightly helped, of course, again, like most of the guys, by the lap 17 safety car. But as I say, on the podium, and 2 Mercedes.
Yeah, and what a drive from Hamilton. I mean, you wouldn't think that, right? Qualifying, where did he qualify? He qualified 4th and had a quite a quiet race in that we didn't really see him on the cameras that much. But just the lap times, you know, the way he got the most out of that car in qualifying and the way he just drove that car and controlled Perez behind him, that was a really good drive by Lewis Hamilton. I hope this proves that there's no speed lost by this driver, and once that car gets back to race-winning ways, we'll see Hamilton back on the top step. And George Russell, he's been super Mr. Consistent this year, hasn't he? So to get himself on the podium as well, another good drive.
I mentioned his 300th Grand Prix for Lewis. Let's have a look at some of the stats around that. He's also, of course, 6th now in the standings, and only 16 points off his teammate George Russell in 5th. So 300 Grand Prix, 7 World Championships, 103 wins, 187 podium finishes, 103 poles. Crikey, that's pretty good. And hasn't finished yet, as he showed at the French Grand Prix on Sunday. Let's talk about George. Started down in 7th, 6th. Hang on, I've got the grid here.
Where am I?
I'm trying to remind myself where he started. Where did he start? 6th. I was right the first time. Lando Norris dropped 2 positions, but unfortunately Fernando Alonso made 2 positions, unsurprisingly perhaps, being Fernando Alonso. So George was behind Fernando at the start, needed to get clear of him, but once he did, he was then in 4th, and I think just over a pretty good race. But the big moment was the mugging, perhaps unkind, that word, Sergio Perez on lap 51, with the end of that virtual safety car period. That was pretty dramatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty dramatic, and we don't. Yeah, look at this. They're so close to making contact. Great move by Russell. Great move by the team, just being awake to the virtual safety car the way they ended. Perez, obviously, rightly so, complaining about the virtual safety car not ending when it should have ended, and they prolonged it. But still, as a team and as a driver, you need to be, okay, it's extended. All right, let's move on. What's next? When's it going to go? And Russell and Mercedes just nailed it. And like you said, opportunistic, but a really good drive. And we've already talked about Russell and stuff and how he's been really consistent and good this year. But it's going to be, I'm kind of interested watching that Hamilton dynamic, because it's nice seeing Hamilton getting on top of things now, because I bet you anything that's the only thing Russell would have been thinking about Sunday night, would have been, oof, teammate was quick. What was he doing that I need to find to try and make sure I beat him next time?